thank you for joining us again on this month's episode of Clubcast. I'm Kate Capezza, and joining me this month are two very dedicated leaders who play a major role in shaping our community. We have Thom Epsky. He is the president and CEO of United Way of St. Lucie and Okeechobee, and then we have Sean Mitchell, our very own Boys and Girls Clubs of St. Lucie County's Vice President of Government and Community Affairs. So Sean and Thom, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for hosting us.
They are here today to tell us a little bit about their very important roles, not just within their organizations, but in the broader effort to empower our youth, specifically our teens. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we are putting a huge emphasis on workforce readiness and just how we can improve our workforce readiness program. And it's just so important to have partnerships like these with United Way, to be able to go into our clubs to provide our teens with those soft skill training, the leadership training, the teamwork training. So they're going to touch a little bit about our workforce readiness program. But first, I just want to start and have them introduce who they are. So Thom, if you don't mind going first, tell us a little bit about your role as CEO and president of United Way.
Of course. Well, first, thank you for having me. This is an incredible privilege, and I appreciate it. As CEO, I'm responsible for working with our volunteer board of directors on the overall direction and strategic planning for the organization. I oversee the day-to-day operations and fundraising and grant oversight for United Way. And probably one of my most important roles is making sure our incredible team of professionals and our volunteers have all the tools and resources that they need to be successful in their roles.
Nice. Sean, do you want to tell us a little bit about your role?
Sure. First, I want to thank Thom Epsky. Thom is a dear friend of mine, and we got to know each other real well when I was a county commissioner, and Thom headed up HR. And he's as big on certifications as I am with my background, and it was a pleasure working for him. And then when I rolled over to after my stint with the county, Will Armstead asked me to head up workforce readiness, and it's evolved not only to workforce readiness, but government affairs and community engagement. And what we've done since I've been on board with the Boys and Girls Club is we really emphasize on not only workforce readiness, but certifications. I'm a certification-driven guy, and I think that helps all of our youth when they grow of age where they're going to be in our workforce. And just to brag a little bit more about Thom again, this year, he started a few months back, but he's hitting 6 of our clubs 6 times and teaching soft skills to all our, he's an adjunct professor at Indian River State College, and he's taken that knowledge and expertise and passing it on to our teens. And I've tried to make most of the events when Thom goes to these different clubs, and the participation and the engagement from our teens, it's inspiring for me. So we're just really excited to have you, Thom. We also have 20 of our teens now getting certifications in construction, OSHA 10 and CCR, high reach certifications, and this summer we'll be having a bunch of our teens building different things as we did last summer. Introduction to carpentry, where they build a clock, take it home to their parents, build a lamp from scratch with a plug for a USB port and things of that nature. And it's just the engagement is awesome. But also what the Boys and Girls Club here locally does is we invite the parents. So when we kick it off, or when we get all these certifications at the end of our school year, we'll have the parents there too, because that's a key component, is the parents have to buy in too. So it's been really successful, and I look forward to more adventures with the Boys and Girls Club.
That's really cool. Some exciting things happening. Thom, what made you want to get involved with Boys and Girls Clubs? How does United Way's mission kind of align with what Boys and Girls Clubs does?
Sure. Well, United Way plays a vital role in youth development and community well-being, broadly by mobilizing resources and partnerships to address things like education, financial security, and youth opportunity. We aim to create a thriving community where everybody can reach their full potential. So we invest in programs and initiatives that can help young people, for example, graduate on time, or are prepared for college or careers. Programs that help support kids in literacy, so they're reading on grade level. And so having the opportunity to work with Boys and Girls Club on this skill-based, the soft skills and competencies that oftentimes we don't have time to teach in schools as part of their academic program, was just something that's important to me from my human resource background.
That's so awesome. And Sean, you mentioned he's been to 6 of our clubs.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your experience with the soft skill training and teamwork, leadership building. What kind of activities have you done with the clubs?
Yeah, well, soft skills, for people that don't know, are important for kids to learn, I think, because they're interpersonal abilities, right? So we are looking at things to enhance communication and collaboration and problem solving, adaptability, which are all qualities that are so important, not only in school, but also in careers and in life in general. So we've been, so far, we've had 2 sessions at each of the clubs, one on communication and one on team building and collaboration. And then this week, we're going to launch the problem solving.
Oh, nice. That is so awesome. Sean, tell us a little bit about your experience with the Florida Training Services program. How does that kind of teach our teens the same type of soft skills and teamwork building?
Well, that's a good question, Kate. First and foremost, Florida Training Service has a pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship program that's registered with the state. And we were able to secure through Florida Training Services a $35,000 grant, and that's how we have 20 of our teens today learning not only about math skills in construction, about safety and things of that nature. So it really aligns with what our mission is here with the Workforce Readiness Program, that we work with not only the people that hire, the businesses that hire, but have the trained workforce there. And Florida Training Service has been a blessing to us. We look forward to collaborating more with them. And last week they were up advocating in Florida for more apprenticeship training and funding, and that's the buzzword. I've been involved in apprenticeship programs for 43 years. And it's nice to see finally where everybody's grasping a hold of this, because the trained workforce, you can't beat that thing. Not only will our young men and women, when they go into different fields, but with Florida Training Services and the building trades, they get it done fast, first, and safe. And it saves, especially if we do government projects, it saves the taxpayers a bunch of money. So
that's incredible.
It's a great collaboration we have with them.
And it provides them opportunities to go on and get jobs from there, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about that and how that connection happens.
Okay. First and foremost, our CEO, Will Armstead, said that this summer he wants to have youths that not only go and they either they'll be welcoming people at different government entities or different type of jobs, and we're going to pay them. The Boys and Girls Club will pay these teens, and not little wages, $15 an hour. And when we get our youths trained in that, for example, we had a young man named Broderick Reynolds who I've kept my eye on him for the last few years, but he was a little bit of troubled youth, and he had some issues, but we worked real hard with him, and he said, Mr. Sean, I'd love to have a job. I want to work. And I was able to, with friends that we have through the Boys and Girls Club, to land him a job at Fort Pierce Yacht Club as a busboy, server, and things of that nature. They love him. Then there was a problem. He says, Mr. Sean, I don't have a ride to work. And we were fortunate enough to talk to the transportation department at the county, and they had a grant. So for the first 7 months, he had an Uber driver pick him up, take him to work 5 minutes early, 5 minutes after he gets off his shift, take him and take him back home. Safe and in a good fashion, at no charge to him. He saved enough money and he bought himself a vehicle. Those are the kind of good stories that, just warm your heart. You say, this is why we do what we do.
Yeah, it's so inspiring to hear success stories like that, especially with Broderick. As that example with Broderick, what are some of the biggest challenges that our teens especially face today that might hinder those opportunities for them to have workforce readiness opportunities? What are some of those challenges?
Well, in today's environment with our teens, I think we have rising rates of anxiety, depression, stress among youth. They often exacerbated by social media, academic pressures, and society's expectations. So I think the partnerships that we do with the United Way, that support programs, they really are essential to serve like food banks, scholarships, and things of that nature. If we can just get our teens to have them focus on the positive things, I think we can at least diminish all the challenges and issues that our teens have today.
Right. I think it's so important that we're providing these opportunities for our teens, especially during today's society and all the problems that they're facing. How have you seen, Thom, when you come into our clubs, how have you seen our teens impacted by the things that you're teaching?
Well, our first session was on communication, not only focusing on clear communication, effective writing skills and stuff, but also on body language and perception as we're communicating, right? We talked about things like vocal voice and active listening. The next time I came around, one of the teens was really excited to come up to me and say, you know, I was thinking about what you covered about body language and thinking about how maybe my teachers perceive me. And the girl said that she tried to implement some of my suggestions, and actually her teacher came up to her and said, you know, it seems like you're trying harder in class. I think you're paying more attention.
Nice.
And she recognized that connection, that line of sight between what she was learning in the session and that. Another one came up to me and just said that, you know, we had talked about how this is, you know, I try to give them the what's in it for me, like why are we here doing this? And one of the teens came up and felt like his ideas were being heard, and that he was doing better at expressing what he wanted to say to some of his family members and others. So that was impactful, because it's like, okay, they're understanding and they're getting it, and now they're excited about the next ones.
It's working.
It's
working,
little things like that that they might not think are important, but it's cool that they're using it in their day-to-day life.
They
too.
are, right.
The problem solving that you're doing that this week.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what all that's going to involve, all the activities.
So I do like to do activities so they can be immersive in it, right? Last time when we were doing team building, we did a spaghetti challenge where they had to build a structure using just some masking tape and string and uncooked spaghetti. And it was interesting to see how they go about that. So this time we're going to talk about problem solving and actually give them a toolkit where they have a step-by-step program to follow, right? How to identify, how to develop ideas and possible solutions, how to implement them and then evaluate them. And so we're going to go through a little exercise like being deserted on a desert island and seeing what tools and resources they need to be able to survive and how they come about making those decisions.
That's awesome. Along with how important it is to do those things inside, Sean, your work focuses on government and community affairs on the outside. How do policies and those advocacy efforts help to support organizations like ours?
Oh my goodness. Government policies and advocacy efforts, they can help secure public funding, grants, and resources necessary for the Boys and Girls Club to continue its programs. Advocacy for government support, local, state, and federal, they can help ensure that the clubs have the financial backing that they need to provide the services our youth in the area need. And when we shape legislation for policies that support our development, especially after-school programs, of community building initiatives, to organizations that can influence our the legislative policies to create a more favorable environment for the clubs. And I just feel like it directly benefits not only our children, but the families served by the Boys and Girls Club.
And you actually just went to Tallahassee to talk to some of our legislators. Tell us a little bit about that. Our Youth of the Year candidates were actually there, so tell us about that experience.
It was amazing to see. We had, I believe, 28 contestants for the Youth of the Year,
Wow.
and our youth was Enrique Rosario. He just makes me so proud every time I see him, the way he handles himself, his disposition about things, and the family and friend support that he has, and to walk him around, everybody, because he was a Youth of the Year last year also, so not only does Representative Trabolsi or Representative Overdorf or Representative Snyder or Senator Gail Harrell, they know him by his first name. And for him to go up there and just make an influence on that, I'm just so proud of him and what we do up there. And of course, we also advocate for the Boys and Girls Club and hope that we get the funding that we need to make it we bring a great service, not only the Boys and Girls Club, but the United Way. And without the funding that it supports our issues, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do today.
Right, so the funding is so important. Why is the partnership with, for example, with United Way and Boys and Girls Clubs, why are those partnerships in our community so important?
Well, United Way, as a rule, is about mobilizing the caring power of our community. We bring together stakeholders to identify gaps in service and critical unmet needs, and then we try to identify ways that we can fill those gaps.
Right.
Partnerships like this, our mission aligns so much with what Boys and Girls Club, right? You try to look at every individual child and making sure, especially the ones that need us the most, have the opportunities to be successful in life. And that's part of our youth opportunity pillar that we address in our community. We want to make sure that we're addressing complex challenges to foster long-term success. And from that human resource perspective that I bring, understanding what soft skills can do, not only in the job market, but just life in general, right? Relationships with friends and family and romantic relationships, how to deal with conflict, how to communicate, I think are so important. So this partnership is very important to me because it helps me. I work with a talented group of people at United Way that are some of the most dedicated public service people. Now I'm getting to meet the incredible team at Boys and Girls Club whose hearts are just so evident in wanting to make sure the youth succeed in our county. And to be a part of that is a tremendous honor. So thank you.
Well, you're an asset to us, Thom. And partnerships with organizations like the United Way, they can provide access not only to mental health resources, right? Yeah. Counseling, community programs, and they offer safe places for our young people and to express themselves and build resiliency and to develop the healthy habits that we need for our community. And they support programs to provide essential services such as food banks, as I mentioned, scholarships, or financial literacy, and of course the soft skills that Thom delivers to us every week.
Yeah, it's so evident that none of us can do as good a job on our own, but by fostering these partnerships and collaborating, we can see the synergy that just makes such a difference in moving the needle.
And we can make the impact even bigger.
Yep.
Why is it so important for our youth and our teens to learn those skills now instead of later on when they're trying to enter into the workforce? Why is it so important that they learn them now?
Well, I can tell you that soft skills are highly sought after by employers. I think Sean has seen that in his career. Employers prioritize competencies like communication and teamwork and problem solving, which, like I said, are just not emphasized in traditional education. So these skills are crucial in all aspects of life and, really help for future careers and building a stronger foundation for our kids. For their long-term success.
That's so awesome. Sean, I just wanted to touch a little bit on, a little off script, but a little bit about our club renovations. Tell us a little bit about the exciting things happening, especially at our Ken Pruitt Club. Those community volunteers that are coming into our club to help with those renovations.
Well, when I first came on board a little over 2 years ago, Will had mentioned to me that he wanted to, it's one of the buildings that we own, and it's a beautiful property there, but it had been let go to the wayside, for lack of a better word. And I created a relationship with the Home Depot Foundation. So the first summer, what they did was, in 2 different times, the foundation gave us about $15,000 each time and probably another $20,000 in free labor. And they came in and we renovated the main building at the Boys and Girls Club at Ken Pruitt. New walls, new ceiling tiles, new LED lights, food bank, refrigerators, shelves, things like that. And Will wanted to continue on with that. And with the relationship we have with Christ Fellowship Church, every other weekend for I don't know how many Saturdays in a row, and we'll be there again this Saturday. We put new flooring in the team room, new ceiling tiles, new molding, painted the walls, and we've had collaboration with people like Larry Neese, who sits on our board of directors, and right today they're putting a new roof in, and just a collaboration also with some of our people, businesses that live around our club. They had trees that were on their property, but they were overhanging onto our property. And you just went and asked them, and they did the right thing and spent many, many hours cleaning it up. We're investing in a sprinkler system, new basketball court, new fences that we got a grant for to put a security fence up around it. So I anticipate within the next few months it'll look like a brand new building, and I'm so proud of it because you want not only your children to be safe when they come to a club of ours, and 100% we are one of the safest places you can go, but you want to be proud of it, just like when you own a home and how you want to take care of it. Well, that's a lot of our teens and younger people's, that's their home, away from home. And we want them more than anything to have fun, but it's nice when you have new TVs and new, you get into STEM carts and all the things that we're doing to enhance our children and our teens. It's just amazing.
That is awesome. It's nice that they have a newly renovated place makes them more wanting to learn and that sort of things. How can local businesses and volunteers like Christ Fellowship, how can they help to empower the next generation?
I think that by offering mentorships, creating opportunities for skill building and fostering a supportive community through initiatives and partnerships like business planning, marketing, financial management workshops, right? That's all important. But also, as Sean touched on too, offering internships and job shadowing opportunities for kids to really help them understand the professionalism that employers are looking for, so when they're entering the job market, they have that reinforcement to be able to go in and be successful at work.
So what would you say to possible community partners or organizations that are wanting to support Boys and Girls Clubs? What would you say to them?
First thing I would say is come visit. Let me walk you through and show you, because there's a lot of, and I'm not picking on anybody, but there's some organizations throughout the country, not just here locally, they say what they're going to be doing. We actually do what we say we're going to do, and it's self-evident. And I just think that the more collaboration we get with businesses, just for example, when I was talking about the free Uber rides, you had businesses, even when I was a county commissioner, saying, Sean, we want to get the teens, we want to hire teens. We can't get them to go to work, and it's a problem. But then you go to the teens and they say, Mr. Sean, both my parents work. We don't have a vehicle for me to get to and from work. How can we get to work? And through the collaboration with the county and other organizations, it happened. And I've lived my life, and I've learned that at a young age, the 5 Ps, proper planning prevents poor performance. And that's what we've done here at the Boys and Girls Club. And we embrace businesses that we want to help them, and we want them to help us. And it's a perfect mixture. I really do believe that we're going to take it to the next level. And we already are.
Talking about taking it to the next level, are there any exciting things happening between this partnership between United Way and Boys and Girls Clubs coming up?
I hope so. I hope we continue on doing this. I just want to echo what Sean said. When you and I have the opportunity to tour many nonprofits and programs that we support and fund. One of my favorite is Boys and Girls Club. Just to walk in and seeing that the impact that they're making on youth lives every day is just such an incredible experience to witness, and now to be part of that is just an incredible opportunity. So Boys and Girls Club just hits it out of the park every day.
Well, Tom's making our motto come to true fruition, and then that is great futures start here.
That's right.
And what last advice would you give to teens trying to prepare for their futures, whether it's in school, careers, or just life in general? What's one tip of advice that you would give them?
Never give up. Don't let anybody put a limit on your aspirations, because every great journey begins with a big dream.
Sean, any advice?
Yeah, you know what? I have 6 children and 7 grandchildren, a lot of kids, but I've learned throughout the years that as long as you stay engaged with, whether it's your son, your daughter, or somebody that you're trying to develop the skills that they need to be successful in life, just trust the process. And you know, you can talk about people that invented things, and there's always failures, and it's how you react to those failures. You just get up, you wipe it off, and you keep plugging it. And I tell the teens, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, because it's happened in my life, the harder you work, the luckier you're going to get in life. Just stay focused, it'll come. And it never comes fast enough. I mean, I'm the same way with my children. You know, they're not learning it fast enough, but just trust the process. Stick to your guns, work hard, and I believe that God will help you find a way to be a successful person.
Well, thank you both so much for joining us. It's so exciting to hear about the workforce readiness initiatives that you both are taking on and growing within our organization. Thom, we're excited to have you into our clubs to teach the problem solving this week and just to keep the partnership going. So thank you both for joining today.
And I just want to say, Kate's been with us a couple of years too. And you have a great product, but if you don't market that product and let the people in our community know what we're doing, and kudos to you and the entire staff for the marketing department, because you guys hit it out of the park.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So exciting things are going to happen. So stay tuned on our Facebook and on our website for just all the exciting things happening within Boys and Girls Clubs. Our summer camp registration is actually open. It's filling up quick, but we do have spots left. So just visit our website at bgcofslc.org for more information about our summer camp and just more information about all of our programs, especially our workforce readiness program. So I'm excited for all the things that are coming up within our organization in the future, and we'll see you next month.